All right, on my little YouTube motherfuck faces. Change of scenery. You're watching Validation Boy live stream. February 25th, 2019. Let me pause this shit. Jed Skeptic Media got me feeling all self-conscious about having guitars in the background and shit. First 5 in the live. Here we go. In at number 1. So nice you gotta say it twice. Schlumminger. Schlumminger. That's right. And at number 2, Cigar Face. Fuck yeah. And at number 3, Dan W. Dan, I had to leave that Skype group that you set up because everybody was leaving as soon as they saw my name anyways. Nobody likes Validation Boy, bro. Very few fucking people do. And at number 4, OJ McBaggins. And in at number 5, who was it? John Watson. Oh, yeah. Possibly P-Mars, actually. No, it was P-Mars. Sorry, John Watson. It was P-Mars. P-Mars putting out great stuff. P-Mars made a great point during his chat in his live stream today to me. I said something, and he was talking about how, you know, those shows like Jersey Shore were designed to give society, women in society, an opportunity to emulate what they're seeing on TV. Because, you know, if it's on TV, women have a free pass to do it because someone did it, and it's part of the social norm now. You know how that works. It works for anyone, not just women. But that's the thing. He said, P. Mars was talking about how these TV shows, they normalize, you know, hoes going around, getting drunk out of their mind, and riding on the carousel, basically. And it justifies it for them. Because, oh, oops, I was drunk. Bitch, please. We were talking about something else. Yeah, and then I said something back to him. I said, yeah, it's the GPV's fucking irresponsibility. You know, free pass. And people are supposed to actually empathize with these women after they do these things. But anyways, that's a whole different subject for a whole different day. Also, in this chat, we have down on the list, way down on the list, Twitwit. And then we have Dele Ohio. Great to have you. John Watson's in here. Tim Ossman was in here earlier. Probably still is. Twitwit's mad because I called her out for being starstruck. Starstruck. Tim asks John Watson what John Watson thinks about Bob proving spin. And assumes that John Watson is a sphere earther now. Yeah, I called out Twitwit for being starstruck. But anyways, I guess Gem Panda didn't do his Sunday show. We've been joined by Daniel Pratt, Reshaping Our World. And he says, do you think Wolfie could hook Mediocre Sapien up with a Wonder Woman so she can fly him around the poles in her invisible jet? Oh, yeah. Then John Watson's talking about how the Top Brass had a documentary crew following them around with big fuck-off camera and mic shoved in their face. And Bub tries to act like he's secretly recorded it or some shit. Bob tries to fake out he's secretly being recorded or some shit. Yeah, exactly. He knew that fucking camera was pointed on him. In that little small intimate get-together where everyone's sitting there, you know, on whose dime. I'm not even sure whose dime that was on, but yeah. Rusted Soul just went through a 30-day Facebook ban. Yeah, because Facebook is gay. Man, Ed Upside Down Head has joined us. Flat World Logic. The Rig. Validation Boy's power fan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right. And he says, damn, you still talk about the most intriguing shit, huh, VB? Yeah, I do. I really do. It's a lot more interesting than all the shit on your channel. We all know that for sure. Tinfoil Hatter says hi to Dan Pratt and hey to everybody else. Flat World Logic, Peanuts Clark, Tinfoil Hatter, Way BMX. Way BMX says whores will be whores. Let's see. Shore horse for everybody, huh? Flames. The rig says, "What's up, VB homo?" I don't know. The rig, come on, bro. We're cool, man. Just shut the fuck up with all that dumb shit. And Daniel Pratt says, "Yeah, VB's running behind, but I know it's not because he's doing his hair." VB must be lining up a guest. Yeah, nobody wants to join me. You know, Tim might want to join me later. If he pops in here and says, "Give me the join link," I'll send it to him, but I doubt he will. If Ed wants to join me, he's more than welcome. But no demands. Lori Gale's in the house. Wow. The rig says, "For sure, seeing as though my channel was a massive troll." Anyways, yeah. So, big shout out to Tim Ossman. He put out a video 2-3 videos back now. And he went in and was in some kind of hangout. I don't know if it was a YouTube live broadcast, but it was a hangout. I don't know if it was through Discord. I don't know. Tim says, if he joins, he can teach Dan Pratt how he himself cannot prove that the world isn't flat. Yeah, you're more than welcome to join us, Tim, and fail to prove that the earth isn't flat if you want. Nathan Oakley, the Flat Earth Messiah, has asked if everyone shared the stream. Damn, that's a clean shave. No, it's not actually that clean of a shave. It's with a clipper with no guards. But then the face is, of course, a nice straight razor. But let's see. Ed Upside Down Head says, Bob is fucked. Yep. Shruminati wants a shout out. So big shout out to Shruminati. Big shout out to Shruminati. Rusted Soul says, Tim lurking in the shadows. We all know Tim's chilling, man. Tim, I begged him to watch some of my stuff, and I could tell that he watched, quite a bit of it. He also told me that he watched some of it. And, I hear my words coming through, and then, when I watch his shit, some of his words come through me. It's great, it's funny. But Tim, fucking, I want to get Tim in here, man. Dan W says VB's a legend. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Tim says Bob agrees with Ed that Bob is indeed fucked. It's hard, man. I don't really have much to go on tonight. Not much at all. I'm just faking it to make it, guys. But I got a new backdrop behind me. Fuck it. I'm gonna switch it up today. Tired of sitting in that fucking chair in there. Yeah. So Tim went on and infiltrated these fuckers. He might come on if he blazes and feels better. He went about, he talked about the cuck show I got. Yeah. He went in there and fucked them up. Tim really fucked him up. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it that much unless Tim's in here. But then again, I do kind of want to talk about it, and then hopefully we can get Tim in later. He was triggering these guys, man. Triggering them, talking about, how their channels look gay and how they look, effeminate and stuff like that. And it was funny because after a while, X. Shout out to Jed and shout out to Tim. X was like trying to do, he tried to do the, why are you going to bring up someone's sexuality into the argument? Usually he's able to use that against a flat earther and use it as a tool of, oh, look at you, sorry flat earthers, you're going to attack me for being a flaming, flamer. And that's all you have against the globe, even though he just never offered jack shit of proof against the globe, as Timmy wisely pointed out on many occasions now. And the thing is that he didn't really know how to use it because, Tim and him both believe in the globe. So he was kind of just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And Tim was basically calling him out for his, his corruption, his sickness, his filth, his errors. And the guy did the classic, why you got to bring my sexuality into it? And it raised a good question. Did Tim or are you X the one? Just like most gay men, you guys are flamers and you put it out there. You guys are the ones that involve it, that fucking thing. You put it all out in everyone's fucking face and shit. And it makes everybody uncomfortable. And then you get off on the fact that people are uncomfortable. and you say you hate it. Oh, I wish people would just treat us normal. No, you get off on being a flamer and making people pay attention to you and take notice of the fact that, oh, you like to take other men's dicks and put them in your fucking area where feces is supposed to come out of your body and shit. You know what I'm saying? Disgusting, bro. And fucking, let's see here. Wait, BMX. Flaming Globe Cooks. For real, them shit's gay as fuck. You know? And then it made me think, okay, you guys are the ones that are talking about hairy man butt sex. You know what I'm saying? You guys like it. And we see you smirking when you guys raise that subject or something like that comes up. We see you guys like your little cringy smiles and shit, your little demonic butt love smiles and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it made me think, well, hold on a second. The fact that they do this, extrovertedly do this flaming routine, because it's all the exact same clone personality. They're all just a clone of Richard Simmons or whoever the first, flamer was that they had seen on TV. They just take their personality from that person. They don't even have their own personalities, most gay people. Okay. Or if they do, they definitely hide it in public. And all you see in public is, I'm a fucking flamer and shit, And they do that to offend people. They do it because they're scared. They do it to try to get empathy from females. And usually they get a lot more empathy from, black females or Hispanic females than they do from white females, just for being gay when it comes to uncomfortable social situations and shit. And they don't really have their own fucking personality. And it made me think. Tim wants that link. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Let me maximize this screen. Hold on. Let me copy that. Copy. See, I can speak British too. I can speak fake English too. Hold on, let me do this. It's going to take a minute, guys. I'm no fucking expert. I don't fucking care. Now I got to go over here. I got to open a new fucking window. I got to go into, some of these apps and whatnots. Go in there. Find my boy Timmy. Let's wait for these conversations to load up. But anyways, come on, man, load. Right, it's been copied, been pasted. It made me think, since these perverts, these sickos are into this disgusting practices, okay? And then they go and they publicly make sure that that in your mind, when you hear a flamer coming and the way they talk and shit, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you're forced to remember what they do with feces and buttholes and mouths and shit and ball sacks and faces and shit. You know what I'm saying? To each other as men with their dirty man buttholes and shit where feces is supposed to be. Okay? Like blood and feces and puke and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're forced. Some part of your brain back there is forced to remember that shit. Okay? And then these fucking demons, okay? These demon filth in the eyes of our Creator, okay? Do that and act flaming around children too. So then you got to think, mommy, why does no, not him for specifically, but why does that guy act like that? Why does he act like a woman? That's what every fucking child, it's the first question they ask. Why does that man act like a woman, mommy? Why is he so strange and acting like he's a woman? That's crazy. Like it's like a crazy person, right? Is that like an alternate personality, mommy? Is he one of those people with schizophrenia? No, little Jimmy. He does X, Y, Z. How fucking demonic is that? Okay. Women are more agreeable, as they say. And that's why they typically interact with the child as it's growing a lot more than the male does. Typically, not necessarily, or that's the image that people have in their mind. That's what, the love of a mother. The mother spends a lot of time with the kid, By having these women accept this blood feces stuff, okay, improper stuff, and then explaining it to their child in a soft way, who fucking benefits? The link has been sent to Timothy Ossman. I don't know how this is going to work out technically. Hopefully, I can grab my headphones real quick before he joins. But if you come in, Timmy, feel free to speak your mind. Much appreciated. I'm going to grab my headphones. Give me 5 seconds, guys.
Thanks to the almighty Bob for proving the spin of the Earth and the Earth is not flat. Thank you very much, Bob.
All right, I hear you. Is there a crazy feedback loop or anything bad happening?
Yeah, but that was actually my fault. No, it's not.
Okay. It's either I got to put my headphones on if there is. Am I okay?
Yeah.
I guess this new device I have is not so noisy as the old shit. So I'm able to like not wear headphones and have you on. It's fantastic.
So anyway, what'd you think about that? I didn't really hear you talk about that conversation I had. I think some people got it and some people didn't. And the people that didn't actually ended up commenting on how they didn't get it. So it's kind of funny.
Didn't get what? What do you mean?
Kind of the point of what I was doing there, kind of exposing the hypocrisy those guys can make. I mean, even tonight, Fight the Flat Earth and all the geek room or whatever, go and just completely berate this flat earther. Now, the flat earther isn't innocent, really. But the flat earther did kind of share some of my sentiment about them being somewhat homoerotic, and he went a little harder than I did. So let's just say that.
Do you know the guy's name?
I don't. Look at Geek Channel or something like that. Geek Squad or something, dude.
Geek Squad.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, Fight the Flat Earth was on there earlier. He's doing his rounds, because I guess, like you said, he sits there a lot. So I mean, or somebody did. I mean, he has a ton of time basically to do what he does. So
yeah, exactly. I just really appreciated your last upload. I guess was it live or it was like an edit, right?
No, that was actually live. Basically, that was Dan Palladino's chat he was having. And basically, Lewis had said something that I wanted to speak on. So Dan gave me the link, and Dan ended up deleting that probably to not have any fallback or blowback on him. But well, yeah, so I hit live right when I joined, basically.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you had said too. It made sense. Dan Palladino's channel fucking blows. That guy's a fucking moron, dude. I'm just saying. That guy's a fucking jack off.
He's really nice, and I haven't seen his content, so I couldn't speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, he can be nice, I guess. I mean, in like on the thing like that, but he's a fucking jackass, man. He makes some really dumb fucking comments and shit, man. Like when we're in the live chats and stuff. I just know that guy, and then I went and looked at his channel, and it's not all that impressive. But I did love the fact that you were able to trigger those fucking, excuse my language, them fucking faggots, bro, and just expose them for just being, little creepers. Their little cringy smiles when they start talking about buttholes and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's disturbing, bro.
Yeah, did you notice how the panel turned into some kind of a Transformers panel or something, where all these little memes and little Marvel comic book characters came in? Right. And they're like, I don't want to talk to you. And I'm like, well, why are you here, clown? I mean, basically, when you can put people's back to the wall, you really kind of expose them. And so what happened is in that expose I've done, basically it shows how triggered these people get over very simple words. like gay or black, gay beaver to be specific, black or something like that, because they're growing up in the 21st century where all this mainstream media is pushing that narrative on them to be hypersensitive about, you know, what people say and this is okay and this isn't okay. And really, I'm not up with the list and I'm not politically correct. So that's why did you hear me? I mean, I use specific words to literally set them off, and it worked every time.
It was pure genius, man. You really fucked them up really bad. I mean, and you were talking about me quite a bit on there, and I'm glad you used my name as a vehicle to do that to them.
It was the only vehicle I could actually use, really, except that they are very vitriolic towards flat earthers. And I do kind of feel that, you know, we've built a rapport here. Some of the old debunkers and Soundly and people like that don't get into the drama. Slice Barkane just straight debunks and stuff, but he doesn't go after them like these people do. I mean, you know, people that have effing idiot counters and make jingles and shit like that, like that whole group, I'm just not interested in, truthfully. So they can come comment and watch my work, but other than that, you know, good luck to them.
Rapapipit X, man. That every time that guy comes out with a song, and then when he had that group singing that song to me, the whole performance was completely fucking flaccid, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was completely fucking limp, dude. They're so unenthusiastic, and they just weren't really into it, and they were just kind of like following the cue, like, am I doing what you want? Am I doing what you want me to do? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the feminine foreigner might actually be tone deaf. I think perhaps, you know, because he's so off key with every note, and it's really cringy. And so, yeah, that definitely was a good vehicle to kind of throw a few stabs at those people. Maybe get them to realize, but really with that kind of ego of the clown atheistic mind, they're just going to basically think that they're right about everything. So they're probably not going to change. I mean, that gay beaver guy came and said some gay beaver comments on my channel. And, you know, basically I told him I might not agree with what he has to say, but, you know, I would die for the right for him to say it. So then he came back and said, you know, I'm a homophobe or xenophobe. I don't know, but I love that comment.
They always say that you're scared of them being gay. I'm not scared of you being gay. I just don't want you to do it around me. And I think that you shouldn't do it. It's gross. It makes me want to punch you in the face. I'm not scared of you. You know what I'm saying? I love that. That's funny. It's the classic argument. You're just scared of us. Bitch, please. You know?
Well, I'm not even sure that some of those guys are gay, man. They just
act
really gay.
No, I'm just saying in general. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of bouncing off into just general society now. Just talking about that.
So when you were young at the playground and stuff, did you call your friends like, "Oh, you're gay, man. You're a fag," you know, stuff like that?
Yeah, it was.
Say that.
Okay. That was normal operating procedure. We didn't even intend it to mean anything about actual, you know, gayness.
Exactly. So, I mean. They're trying to make us so hypersensitive, and that's why, you know, people like me are just gonna stand up for to not be politically correct, because words can't hurt you. I mean, if I was going on and saying specifically about a certain race or something, and I wanted to do something terrible to them, I could understand. But just saying the word itself shouldn't evoke such triggering. I should have named that the triggering, the atheist cuck triggering, because that was
like the happening, but the triggering.
Yep, the fappening.
The fappening. As Tim's powers just sweep over them and destroy them and make them destroy themselves, really, just like in the happening. But so earlier I was talking about how. Let me ask your opinion on this. Okay, so. When gay people act flamey, that's them overstepping their boundaries pretty much, right? Because now you're aware that, oh, they do this, that, and the other. They're one of those people, and you picture in your mind, you can't help but instantaneously, you know, just like little things like that. You can't help it, you know. It's like when someone says the word Earth, you know, you think of a globe, you know. But someone says gay, you think of, oh, gay guys. You think of two guys kissing or what, you know. You know what I'm saying, right? You can't help it. Like somewhere in the back of your mind, even if you're not conscious of it, it's still happening. That thing happens to you. That's been programmed in there. And so when these gay people are running around acting flamey, they're really imposing it's really like it's bad, right? It's like they shouldn't have the right to do that, right? And then, but see, let me get your opinion on that.
Well, I just think there's always extremes to each group. Like there's an extreme victimization to a certain sect of black people that actually some black people don't like. Like if you listen to that guy, man, that guy's Beta. I forget his name, but that guy, I mean, he's as hard on blacks as he is on anyone, on his own color, basically,
Red
or his
pill,
own race or whatever. But
red pill
I
philosophy.
get no, he's a black dude. Someone will say it in the chat here in a second. They know the Beta thing. But Jesse something, I think.
Jussie
But
Smollett.
I don't know. He was just on Non Sequitur the other day.
Oh, Jesse Kozlowski.
No.
I'm just fucking around, bro.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
So okay, so what are you saying?
Well, now that you've backtracked me so far, I'm actually lost for words. What was the question again, dude?
I was saying like, okay, well, here's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you heard me saying it, but I was saying like when these people act flamey, they're actually intruding into people's, psychological personal space, really. And then I was getting to the end point here, which is the fact that these guys really, well, and the flaming lesbians too, they do this, and then they do it around children too. So children are exposed to these men acting this way, and at that point, the child is then going to ask their mom, what is that? Why are they like that? The mom has to explain that they do nasty man butt things or something, and then that essentially, and then since the flamers get off on doing this to people in the first place, they're getting off on knowing that a child is thinking about it. So essentially all flaming gay men essentially are pedophiles.
So that's why I wanted to tie that in with the black comment I just made was there's a certain sect, a large sect of the gay community that hate all these parades and all these people doing all these dressing up things. I mean, it's just something. It's their preference. It's not a big deal, but and they don't do. There's no heterosexual parades or anything. So what I'm saying is there's like an extreme side of everything, and for some reason, like I said, I actually think it has something to do with the kind of atheistic mentality that's going on these days. Just because if you listen to people like Red's Rhetoric and other people like that, they always go to these really, really homoerotic comments. So that's the only thing I can really tie it to, truthfully.
Okay. Well, Godless Engineer the other day came out with some video talking about, why Jesus is fake or why the Bible's fake. And then, today Planar Walk goes live and he's talking about, was Jesus gay? And I don't know who his guest was. I think it was Red's Rhetoric, but it sounded like, I don't know who it was, but he did 3.5 hours on this idea that in the Bible, it's admitting that Jesus is sleeping with men. Like at this point, that's just an outright lie because the Bible would never suggest that in any way, shape, or form, as we all know. Believe in the Bible or not, we know for a fact that it doesn't say that Jesus is a homosexual. Okay. And that's how much these guys freaking hate Jesus. And what Jesus stands for is all things non-cuck, all things that are good, wholesome, and righteous in this world. And they hate that specifically. And Jesus is the face they can put on it. And so now they're at the point where they're claiming that Jesus was a homosexual. You see what I'm saying?
So what's funny is like 6 months ago, I think I made kind of a joke about that because he's always, you never hear him railing some chicks or he's always hanging out with dudes and shit.
He's gone, bro.
I was making jokes of that, but we have been joined by Planar Walk in the chat, and he says ahoy hoy. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There is a huge trans agenda, which is the newer one, and I would say there is somewhat of a gay agenda, and it's like that's the whole point is like heterosexual people don't go and like put it in people's face. It's just like kind of a normal thing, and if they if these people that wanted to put it in our face and are gay, I mean, if they just acted more like it's just a preference kind of thing, there wouldn't be such a problem, I think, in society. But they make it a divisive topic, just like everything. It's divisive. Oh, you're a homophobe because you said the word gay or a gay beaver or something, you know?
Yeah, they really didn't like the fact that you were pointing out that they had taken Fart the Flat Earth's nasty little head and put it on some, you know, gay, buffed up, oiled up fucking bodybuilders dude body and shit.
Well,
And
that's all I saw. That's all I saw. I saw memes of that, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And then I go to that channel, and then his latest video I had just watched, maybe even that day, yesterday or the day before or something, was this. I don't even know if it was a guy or a girl, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was a guy with a package, like in underwear, jumping up and down. So I just asked the question that was on a lot of people's minds, probably. What's up with the weird gay stuff, dude? You know?
Yeah, I know, man.
Why are you trying to make flat Earth debunking gay, bro? That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
this is a straight sport here, dude. We like the real trick. We like the real chicks around here, dude.
So check it out. During the video, "Fuck You, Validation Boy," their little song, they were talking about dicks, and they were showing these dicks, and they had buttholes and shit. And then they cut to Fart the Flat Earth, and he's sitting there making gay face with his hand like that. And I mean, how is that guy not gay? I mean, he says he has kids and shit, but like, I guess and culturally they just think that that's funny in that culture. They're okay with that.
Yes, I think it's part of the only thing I can put my finger on is the kind of atheistic culture. And it is, I mean, the religious people, you know, outweigh atheists huge, but atheism has somewhat been growing a little bit. And unfortunately, when it gets to younger minds, you get people like Locapig. Like, you get the most grotesque people in the world, just literally probably thinking about stump porn and stuff like that. Because they're always talking about stuff like that. So they must be thinking about it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I can put my finger on, dude.
I mean, I sometimes go on rants about and use those kinds of terms, but it's not for that reason. It's because that's just the funny vibe that I'm on at that moment and shit. And it's usually like applied to someone who I'm specifically trying to challenge their manhood, you know? And these guys come along and it's, well, hold on, I actually am gay. You can't make those jokes now and shit. Oh man. It makes you just want to rub it in their fucking face, which is what I did.
Yeah. That's why you got people like PMARS coming on and saying the N-word. I mean, it's just like it's something I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go that far with it. But the point is like, words are just words. Like they really, you remember Sticks and Stones? Remember that whole saying? Words shouldn't hurt people. And if you're gay, you should be proud to be gay. If someone calls you gay and you're gay, you should be proud to be gay. Like, yeah. Because I'm proud to be straight. So I don't really understand why it is pushed like it is, truthfully, these days. But we do have Dan Pratt in the chat. He did say that he's going to look over my Salt Lake City evidence on my channel. You can find that at Kettle Logic, Dan Pratt, Tim Ossman, either one. Actually, what he said was they're going to bust out with some daytime, nighttime shit any minute. Yeah. And that reminds me. I mean, what the hell was the point of daytime, nighttime?
Daytime, nighttime. Oh, man. The good old days, man. Damn it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like that. What is that? Trolls versus Trolls account, because they're finding all like the choicest bits that we all can. I mean, one of the last one was Antonio Subarats with Flat Earth Asshole. Like, that was an epic trigger session, dude, by a narcissist and just a total punk kid that just wants attention. Hilarious, man. So I mean, there's so many moments, man. So many moments that, you know, a lot of these new people have no idea the hilarious nuances that we've all we've all beholden to, basically.
Yeah, this whole scene and its history is so nuanced with fucking. You're right, man. Just epic fucking nuanced.
Yeah.
The words aren't coming out right now, man. I just fucking took care of business right before the show. But yeah, man, they haven't been here through any of this. We do have a rapport that's been built up, man. Think about it. VB's show, I've only had like a grand total of 2, possibly 3 actual flat Earth proponents on my entire history, and I've had like 20 plus different guests that were non-flat Earthers. You know.
Yeah.
And
So,
I've been
hey, have you ever thought about that whole thing? Since Dan Pratt's here, I'm just wondering, have you ever thought about that ball that he put on that thing, the little spinning drill? Did you ever think about that experiment?
yeah, I have had thoughts on that experiment actually.
I
Why?
mean, do you think it's a legit, like, as far as the Earth doing 1 revolution per day and him cranking that thing and it doing, probably hundreds of revolutions a minute? I mean,
See, here's the problem, man. It's like it doesn't really help the globe what I'm about to say, but it also doesn't help Dan either because yeah, he's doing this spinning inside of his garage. And in the garage there is, you know, mat the matter that surrounds the ball in the garage is not the same circumstances that would be matching what the globe would be experiencing. Even if you
yeah,
did the speed and it was mathematically equated to the same amount of revolutions, obviously something this big, it's not that it takes longer. It's just that it's a different situation as variables change. It's a dramatically different situation. And it kind of, I lump it into the same situation. It was an accident where, like how Dell spit pouring water
exactly.
on the ball. It's like,
Yep.
well, you're not in the right environment. You're not taking into account the idea that there's this infinite vacuum of space surrounding the Earth and that it's at a much bigger scale and there's different elements at play, such as vapor, gases, and supposedly gravity and all this shit, which I believe in none of those things. But you can't equate this with all these things that has all these variables, which is the globe model. You can't equate the two. So he might have proven something there, but he didn't disprove the globe specifically with that experiment.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the chat trying to justify himself, but I have no problem with him. He can think what he wants, and I know you guys are friends, so I'm not going to talk crap about him here. But he's basically saying that it's dependent on the radius, and yes, the radius of the Earth being 3959, and the radius of that ball being so small, plus the speed of the Earth compared to or the amount of revolutions. Yeah, and linear speeds and relative speeds and stuff. This stuff is too advanced, and really we don't need to get into it. If he thinks that proves the flat Earth, that's cool with me. I'm actually still waiting for some serious proof of the flat Earth. Actually, what I get is flat earthers proving that there's curve to the Earth, that there's spin to the Earth, and basically everything that they say is evidence for flat Earth is actually evidence for reality, which is sphere. It's crazy.
Now, what's your opinion on this laser? What was it? This red laser gyroscope spinning thing? What the fuck was that Bob had? What was that?
Yeah, that's called a fiber optic gyro. Basically, very advanced, expensive piece of equipment that uses light instead of like a spinning mechanical gyro. It actually bounces light through fiber and calculates that. But it's actually, as I showed today on my channel, their data. It when you actually plug it in accordance to the guy's latitude and different latitudes, if you do those tests yourself, it actually works to 15 degrees per hour, and that's what we expect. There's no answer to it on the flat Earth.
Now, is that machine meant to be used for surveying specifically?
No. This is something much
Is it
different.
meant for laying wires for like fiber optic, under the ground shit?
This would be more like for like a Adaroo, like the internal, like the altimeter on an airplane. It's very advanced. equipment, basically that usually is like for airplanes, and it's really a specific thing. It's not used for many applications. So when you buy it, I mean, there's really no resale value to it, really. So he spent $13,000 to prove the spin of the Earth, and it sounds like he thinks the spin is a demon. The guy sounds like very religious, so he thinks it's demonic forces at play.
Who said that?
Zimmerman.
Oh, okay. I missed a segment there. I was trying to switch over to devices. Man. Okay. I mean, I just don't understand what this device was supposed to do. It's supposed to shoot light out into a certain point and then bounce off of something, and that's how they're supposed to know.
It's like a small unit, and it's actually bouncing light from within, and it's actually calculating different movements, basically of the Earth. So,
well, let's say
why it actually is very, very suspect is because, like I was trying to say, is that with latitude, you actually have to take the cosine, or the sine or something of your latitude with basically your data, and the data then matches up with 15 degrees per hour. But the whole point about 15 degrees per hour is a whole circle obviously is 360 degrees. Divide that by 24 hours, that's 15. So everything in the sky moves at 15 degrees per hour because the Earth is rotating. And basically, ring laser gyros and fiber optic gyros, Bob said for a long time that these wouldn't actually detect any motion, and we come to find out he was wrong. So he's trying to say it's the ether now, basically.
So what I was trying to get at is what is this? What medium is this making its measurements through? Just through space time itself, just through existing, and then it knows if it has been moved, and it knows how far it's been moved. Is that basically what this thing does? Because, like, is it bouncing a signal off of like the sky or one of the intangible objects in the sky? You know?
No, it's an internal unit. It's a more advanced unit than like the toys that Antonio Subarez plays with, like the mechanical gyros.
And
these kinds of gyros. Go ahead.
It knows that it's been moved. Like,
it detects the rotation. It detects movement. Yes, even though it's completely still, it detects it.
Well, it's sitting still on what you would allege is a spinning globe.
Exactly.
So, what if you're on a boat? Does it like just track the miles that way too, on a path, or if you're on a cart or on a car, or just any motion, or you have to let it sit still, or else it's not going to work?
I'm not sure, actually.
Because, like, what good is this tool really? Like, what is this tool even supposed to really do? Or what is it? How can this prove? And I honestly believe that by saying that you're going to let it sit still on the ground and that it's going to go 15 degrees in any direction, I don't think that can be proven.
It is.
I mean, come on.
The data is proven. Also, the Foucault pendulum is proven by now. Different latitudes get different results. Cavendish, and I say proven kind of colloquially, but these are scientific, accepted.
Let me try to bust another hole in there. So you're saying that everything in the sky is used to confirm the fact that 15 degrees of movement has happened, right?
Say that again. It's
like,
to confirm that 15 degrees.
Yeah, like how do you confirm? How do you validate that 15 degrees in the real world, other than this machine just saying that it moved 15 degrees?
There's math basically involved, but like I said, it has to do with your latitude.
Okay, but
It uses the Sagnac effect. Look that up.
you plug your location into this thing, and then it knows its latitude, and then it does its math
You
that way.
don't. No, you don't plug your location into it.
You take what it
You plug
reads,
your location into
the mathematics
the
after the
math.
fact, the
Yeah,
math
yeah,
after the fact. Okay,
yeah.
so now these 15 degrees, how are they validated? Are they using the sky? I mean,
XYZ movement basically.
in
So
relation, but in relation to what though? See, it has to move up separately from some other static object, right? Or else, how does it know it's
because
moving?
the Earth is spinning, dude. The
Okay,
Earth is spinning.
but
There's
that's like a
no there's
that's a
no
big
other
jump.
reason why this would work out to 15 degrees per hour. This is why a lot of people, when they got this information, actually dropped off. Like Chris Monk and stuff. They understood what this means.
I'm trying to understand what it means, but I mean, what is it? What is this movement relative to? Against the backdrop of the sky? Against where it once was itself? Where this unit was like an hour ago? It the I mean, like, and sure, this machine can make these numbers, but how are these things
Just
proven?
look up fiber optic gyro. They're very, very precise instruments. Very precise.
Yeah, but I don't. I guess. But anyways, another thing I wanted to ask you is, what about the fact that how can 15 degrees of sky movement really be true? Because if stars are at different depths, then there should be different rates of movement. Not everything would move at 15 degrees. Only one solid layer, one solid
So
like
actually, it only moves 15 degrees at the equator. So that's kind of why when you put your latitude in, the cross section of the globe, those are gonna just like his Dan Pratt's little experiment there with the drill bit or whatever. There's actually different forces being applied over not different forces, but different amount basically throughout that spherical object.
Different forces, different.
One sec.
Because see, you're talking about motion, and you're talking about this thing somehow knowing that it's 15 degrees further away from where it was an hour ago. And
You look.
I'm trying to
There's no
figure out
way.
in
There's no
relation
way
to
that I'm
what.
gonna. There's no way that I'm gonna explain this to you. There's
Why,
absolutely no
bro?
way. So if you're interested, actually on my Discord, I have the actual model of the fiber optic gyro that they used, and you can do some research into it. It's actually very technical stuff. Very technical. It's not like flat Earth where it's pretty roses and you look out and it's flat. It's actually like getting to like some pretty not really difficult mathematics at all, but just actually getting into math.
Fuck math. You know how I feel about math, bro. But what do you think about the possibility, Tim? And be honest with me. What do you think about the possibility of Dunning-Kruger applying to globe heads? Because that's what I was originally going to talk about. I was going to look at the actual Dunning-Kruger on Wikipedia and talk about how most globe proponents, that's pretty much what they're experiencing.
Well, yeah, most people are laymen's in most subjects, unless they're studied on it really, or unless they have very hands-on kind of lab type work. But for the most part, people, even in society, they don't have a justified belief on why the Earth is a sphere. Some of them will just say because of NASA's pictures, which really this is kind of about standards of evidence, standards of proof. So, standards of evidence for some people, NASA, sure. Standards to a flat earther, that's not going to work. Pictures like Soundly's and my Salt Lake City images are not going to work. My drone videos, all that kind of stuff, they literally almost have to be taken up into a balloon or something to see it for themselves. So,
Someone in the chat, Tex Murphy, asks us, so can this ring laser gyro predict the speed we are moving around the sun as well?
No, I actually go into that a little bit, and it's a fiber optic gyro, not ring laser gyro. But the forces, if you calculate that out, the fiber optic gyro only goes to 3 decimal places, and the nearest least force, I guess, next to the actual spin of the Earth would be going around the sun, and that's to 5 decimal places. And then when you start talking about the great attractor and galactic forces, that's like 10 decimal places. So we probably will never have the sensitivity for that kind of stuff, truthfully.
See, here's the thing I was noticing during Godless Engineer versus Red Pill Philosophy, and I talked about this during my show, and now I want your opinion. Universal downward force does not depend on gravity to be true, but gravity depends on universal downward force to be true. Because we have to observe gravity. The only way we can observe it is witnessing things fall to the earth because of its effect. And the thing is, that's actually just universal downward force when we see that locally. And gravity is the thing that's in the imagination. It has to be projected outward.
Well, I've been saying this to flat earthers for a long time. We do experience a downward force here on Earth, and for some reason, I guess the gravity means balls being coalesced, and it does obviously in our model. But there was nothing to ever say that the flat Earth couldn't just have a force that goes downwards. Every time you even throw that past somebody that believes a globe, they just then it would be greater over on the edges, and it would break and crumble into a sphere, man. So I always wondered why flat earthers didn't just say that. I mean, they hate gravity. They just hate it. So they have to, oh no, it's density and buoyancy, even though gravity is taken into effect in the mathematical equation. So yeah, there is a downward force. Either if it's a flat earth, a concave, or a sphere.
Yeah, but see, the thing, my point was, is that for universal downward force to be true, we don't need to involve this imaginary thing called gravity. But for gravity, this imaginary thing called gravity, they still need universal downward force to be true. You know what I'm saying?
It's more of a mass attracting mass kind of thing in the heliocentric model.
Yeah,
which works, by the way, which works completely.
Yeah, but what, through a telescope? I mean, that's the only way you can ever sense that.
No, through the observations, simple observations like Polaris when you're in the northern hemisphere, or both Polaris and the southern celestial point when you're near the equator, or just the celestial point when you're in the southern hemisphere. Plane flights, you can go to flightaware.com and look at planes flying around. I mean, it's a joke now, dude.
How do those things prove gravity though? Those are all local observations. Not Polaris, but how would Polaris prove gravity?
The problem with this is that this is where a lot of these conversations go into. They go into space time and dark matter, dark energy, all this kind of stuff. When really, what I've been trying to get the conversation on, not really here, but throughout my journey here, is to go on the observations that obviously just fit on a sphere. The 2 celestial points in the equatorial star trails, the circumpolar stars, all that stuff, the seasonal stars, the sun during equinox, the solar and lunar eclipses, all of this stuff works just even logically, just logically, that there are 3D things in space that can obstruct each other. And there's a 28-day cycle, new moons, all this kind of stuff works just logically. So it's when you get those flat earthers that still say things like, why can I see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time? Or just really flat earthers are their own worst enemies. They keep going on with things that are debunked because there's so many new people that come in and just start spitting Eric Dubay proofs.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about.
No, I'm just saying the observations are there for the sun, moon, and stars. There's observations like in Salt Lake City where I look at Gunnison Island 37 miles away and I can't see it near the ground. And then when I raise the drone up, I start to see it more and more of the mountain peak and all the mountain peaks around there. And then I look 26 miles over the Great Salt Lake City, rather, over the Great Salt Lake, and I'm seeing 300 feet being obstructed of buildings and of land, which fits on the spherical model. So everything I've ever done, as far as star trails, as far as the sun with a solar filter, all of this stuff works with the model that we were prescribed. But people still go around and just say misconceptions all day and call it a wrap.
I just feel like there's a big inconsistency with reality there when it comes to, you know, you being able to see something. That's the higher up you go. If it's on a curve, it's gonna have to tilt away, man. Things are gonna have to tilt away from you. And if you're talking about things that are that far, there's gonna be some tilt. And then I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, no, it's so big. It's so big that you don't see it. But
no, I can just do something.
I
can do something very simple, really, because 69 miles is 1 degree of an object arcing away from you. So really, even if something's about 20 feet from you and you have two poles, one of them is arced 3 degrees away from you, they're both going to look like they're standing straight up. So now we're talking about looking at buildings or a mountain or something that's going to have to be 69 miles away to have 1 degree of arc away from you. There's no way that optics or anything would ever be able to detect that. That's just silly.
Hasn't somebody come out with some math that goes against that at some point? Some flat earther?
No, yeah.
Oh, damn.
No, yeah, they always go on about, well, you can see 300 feet obstructed. Well, why can't you see it tilted away? They're just kind of thinking it's part of the problem of these misconceptions that people have, all these little drawings and stuff that they do where they're doing like Thrive and Survive the other night, 3,000-mile observations. Like if you're going to draw a sphere, draw it correctly, because really if you're doing 26 miles, it almost looks like a straight line from how big this place is and how big the buildings are. It looks like a straight line.
I'm with you. I'm just, participating.
No, you're good. Yeah. And really this whole water sticking to the outside of things, it's really silly at this point, because, most people use like a water level and say, hey, because in this dumpy level or whatever, this water level, we have water acting this way, and when you put it in a glass or when you're in your bathtub or stuff, and then they just equate that all of the oceans are flat because of that. And then you actually show them evidence where, hey, I'm at a Great Salt Lake, and with altitude, I start to see more and more of the water horizon that obstructs itself lower down. So all of this matches on a sphere. Gravity, dark matter, dark energy, it has nothing to do with anything, because the very fact that the spherical Earth model works as far as stellarium, you can go look in any local sky on Earth and see exactly what the globe model predicts. You can go to time and date. You can see exactly when all this stuff's going to happen. And it's all built knowing that the Earth is a sphere. And so people that try to make flat Earth maps and models and stuff, they fail, because you're trying to make basically a 2D representation of something that's 3D. So it's a futile task, Dan. I hope to see you on the globe side soon.
Dan's never going globe, man. Globe equals Satan in Dan's eyes and in my eyes, bro.
Yeah, man. Truthers either went to flat Earth, transvestigations, Tartaria, basically anything that will keep them not talking about things that are actually real. So what's great is, Dan can spend the rest of his life thinking the Earth is flat, but he will never progress from that, because his faulty suppositions lead him to faulty conclusions.
Dan Pratt presents so many things that I'm pretty sure you don't have any answer for. I'm just being honest. Dan Pratt has presented some things that I was like, wow, that kind of ends it all right there.
He's only got concepts. He's only got concepts. I actually have observations of reality. He has concepts like, hey, if a drone lifts off in it, then the Earth doesn't spin under it, and a helicopter, and he has all these conceptions. He has no actual evidence of anything he ever says, ever.
Well, that example is one of the ones that I would also lump in that category too, where, it doesn't make sense what he's saying as far as like things lifting off and then being inside. Of course, if the globe model is true, then the entire atmosphere will move with the Earth, and anything that's in it will stay in position in relation to the Earth because of its static gravity
Yeah.
slash
At least you
atmosphere.
know the model, man. At least you know the model. That's all, some of us can ask is, hey, if you're going to go around and say the earth is flat, at least know what they're telling us before you think that you know what you're saying here. That's all I'm asking people. And a lot of what Dan says is like flat earth Eric Dubay 1.0 stuff. And I'm not here to get on to him about it. I'm just, if he ever wanted to talk to me about some of my observations or see them, he can hit me up. But I know people like that are not interested in seeing the other side. They have, hatred towards me for whatever reason. Some of them Patty Steer, even though we made up like 2 years ago and we're cool and she comes to my chat. Like these people, they're just angry about nothing. And it's like, hey, I'm a real dude. And he's saying that I helped the perpetrators of 9/11. It's like, I don't even know what he's talking about, dude. Like, oh, because I pay taxes or something. Okay, well then you did too. Or actually, you're probably getting money from the government. And I'm not even going to go there. I don't want to talk shit about him, but go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just had like 20 different thoughts going through my head that whole time. I can't even decide on one of them to go with. We got it's tough, man, because time is of the essence, man, and I'm getting you. I got your time and your attention here right now. Fucking wasn't planned. I didn't have it well planned enough, bro. Because sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm watching your stuff and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could ask Timmy about this, this, and this, and I just fucking forget. And now you're actually here, and I fucking forget what I was gonna say. But there's all these little things I always want to. There's a lot of things I always just feel like I just want to run by you, anyways, just for your perception and for your comedic value, your comedic take on things, and all that stuff. But Delete's in here talking about Jason thinks his own mom is satanic and therefore had to dox her and shit.
Dude, they're fucked up, man. They got something really wrong with them, man. That's crazy. But Dan, since somebody perhaps is listening to this and not seeing the chat, Dan says the atmosphere is fluid. Gravity does not stop fluid from moving laterally. Thus, the spinning atmosphere is not even feasible.
Great point, bro.
Gravity does not stop fluid from moving laterally. Is that an argument?
Well, he did that by doing rain. He was talking about raindrops when he presented that idea originally, if I remember correctly. And then there's wind. Wind is a factor in that, as far as real world observations go. But the rain does come from above and go down. And he's saying that since we're spinning, that rain should sway to a side just on motion alone, regardless of wind. But the thing is that where that rain is in relation to that surface of this alleged spinning ball, and if that ball is really that big, that rain would be so close that there might not be, I don't know. But that's just me repeating the fucking official narrative.
He says water always spreads out. Gravity can't stop that. So I'm just thinking to myself, parabolic flights, having spherical shaped water. Also, the ISS that is there, obviously, having the same thing. So water spreading out, that's actually due to the force of gravity that you deny when it's actually on ground or in cup or whatever.
What about in the ISS when it just like goes out?
The ISS is going around 17,500 miles an hour, and it's actually falling towards Earth as much as it's basically, I think it was Newton or something in the cannonball. I forget who it was, but if you shot it at a certain velocity, it will actually be in orbit, and so that's how orbits.
That's all good. That's all good and well, but what about when this thing that's always falling towards this Earth, and therefore that's all good and well when that Earth is in one position, but if that Earth is moving in a greater arc, then when that thing gets around to the front of it, things are going to change. That little consistency that they claim they have, that's impossible because it has to surpass the object. So then mathematically, it's not really feasible. It's going to crash. It's only going to go so far around and then crash because it's moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
We just we're almost kind of encapsulated by a non-barrier almost. I mean, we're talking about I think 80% or more of Earth's atmosphere actually being below like 50,000 feet, I believe. So you know, we have evidence of water staying to the ground in a certain fashion, being pulled towards the center of the Earth, as well as the atmosphere being held down, thankfully. And the whole cycle between trees and humans and plants and animals and stuff like that continues. So
The
I haven't.
atmosphere also creates wind, lateral winds and hurricanes and stuff that defy gravity in some ways, you could argue.
Nah, there's high pressures and low pressures, and yeah, there's there's weather systems that move in and forces that are applied, and yeah, I mean, I don't. This is why I say he doesn't have very good evidence, because really, at the end of the day, you just deny gravity. And really, what gravity is, what you're really wanting to do, Dan, is deny mass attracting mass. What you want is to believe in, or make up a word or whatever you want to do, to a downward attractive force towards the Earth, towards the flat Earth.
That's a big assumption to say attracting. That's a big assumption to say attracting.
Everything's going to fall though, unless it's lighter than its medium, right? So
yeah, but
it's being attracted.
Well, it's being forced downward. It's not necessarily being pulled downward. It's not necessarily being pushed downward. It's more likely that it's being pushed downward than it's being pulled downward. But with gravity, you would say it's more likely it's being pulled downward.
You can kind of describe it. You can really, it's semantical at the end of the day.
Well,
just like mass attracting mass.
Very different. Well, mass attracting mass means pulling down. And UDF, universal downward force, would probably be closer to being pushed down due to pressures and buoyancy.
No, look, all I'm saying is that we can come to some certain understanding that we don't have to call it gravity. We can call it something else. If gravity really triggers people that much, just call it a downward force. It's quantified. It's quantified very heavily, actually, with satellites being able to stay up there. They're proving gravity every day, actually.
How do they explain away the overtaking of a planet that's moving forward? How do they explain them overtaking? What's their answer to that?
What do you mean overtaking?
Like, as the Earth goes through space around the sun, the satellite goes around Earth. But eventually that satellite has to get in front of the Earth, just as the moon has to get in front of the Earth and between the Earth and the sun. That's at many points. How do they explain that the thing maintains a consistent speed, even though I know it's constantly being attracted to the ball, but eventually the ball is gonna overtake it. It's not gonna be able to. Or how do they explain that they do that they're able to achieve that over and over and over? What is it, 90 times a day or every 90 minutes, whatever? How do they overtake the Earth?
They get into an equilibrium between gravity and basically its vector going forward. So unless there's going to be an outward force acting on it, it's going to continue to do that. And yes, they do drift a little bit, and they do have to be maneuvered up or down certain times.
So they're in the pressureless space around the Earth and are able to overtake Earth while in pressureless space. Then how are they getting faster to overtake that Earth with nothing to have pressure to go against? How are they, these are questions.
It's the old space, do rockets work in a vacuum question. And
well, it's that partially, but it's also if there's no resistance,
there's something inside the vehicle that is actually expelled out, and there's an equal and opposite reaction.
But but not if that matter. That's in our reality. Yes, that's true. But in outer space, that might not be true. Because
outer space is reality. Outer space is reality. Outer space. They want to say the Kármán line's like 100 miles or whatever, but the atmosphere goes for miles and miles and tens and many, many miles, where it's less and less and less and less atmosphere. We can test that going up to a mountain, but we can't test going up to the thermosphere. Sure, but one can conclude that that it continues to go less and less and less, and that lack of pressure basically is what they call space.
Okay.
So,
And then so
there's no friction acting on these vehicles. If a vehicle went 17,000 miles an hour in the atmosphere, it most likely wouldn't last very long. So we can actually calculate how fast they're going. We can see the transits, all these transits that are like to the second when the ISS is going to transit the sun or the moon, are built on spherical Earth, and it's accurate to like a second, I swear. So,
but do you realize that relative to the moving planet and the speed that the satellite was already going on the round the bend, coming back around, you're going to have to exponentiate that force to get it to not only keep going past the Earth, which is also moving, and since it's bigger, also supposedly pulling that object towards it even harder the closer that they merge. There's even more force because as they're merging, there has to be an extra bit of force. It's not the same as when you're behind it. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, well, there's no friction in space. So that's why there's nothing holding these things back from doing this.
Each position that the satellites are in, each vector is pulling downwards. So if the vehicle is moving at a certain speed to keep it up there, that's how they do it. I mean, it's orbital mechanics.
See, there's a lot of imagination there, and you know it, bro. One day you're gonna come and you're gonna be like, you know what, BB? I know you weren't a Poe. I know you were serious this whole time. And you're right.
Yeah,
my globe is silly. Come on, bro.
No, the globe isn't silly until something replaces it. The globe will not be silly, and flat Earth has a potential to create a map or a model that has more predictive capability than the sphere Earth. It has a potential to, but a person like me knows that's impossible. There's no way to quantify the spherical Earth into a flat Earth. So we will have this shill movement, this psyop that continues to happen, where now YouTube's taken away some of our rights, and this will continue. I've been talking about this for years. They're going to take as much as they can from the conspiracy crowd, I'm sure, and this is due to the whack job conspiracy theorists that have the no planes or no one died 9/11 kind of stuff.
Jet fuel.
So yeah, they implemented, Wikipedia first being put on, if you had like NASA hoax or something on there, they just put in NASA Wikipedia right under your video.
I know.
And now they're removing you guys from, or who knows who, conspiracy related videos, I guess, from recommended. And now they're putting, I mean, if you put in flat Earth and hit news on Google, you'll see flat Earth, but you'll see so many other references to anti-vaxxers and 9/11 inside job people or climate change. So basically, this has come full circle to exactly what I said it would do, is that these people are tarring us with the same brush with their stupidity. And so now in the public subconscious, conspiracies are probably going to be related in their mind to flat Earth. So
I know, man. I think there's an even much scarier and much bigger agenda at play in our world's reality right now than even the impact that flat Earth can have on a movement. And
yeah, there's no objective to flat Earth. Like, okay, we're gonna go out and tell people the Earth is flat. Okay, what's after that? Well, I heard from Patty Steer and all these people for years that basically governments will crumble and will be passing the peace pipe around and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking, right? So there's no after step. Even if you started getting like 20% people that believe it, 30%, 40%, or whatever, like what is the objective here? Just to tell more people that the Earth is flat and get them stuck in a rabbit hole? And if it's not true, and people go on for years and years, it's going to be interesting if they ever figure it out for them, if they ever see some of my content where my content literally goes on the observable evidence that we can, without like millions or billions of dollars, we can do ourselves here on Earth. And they still couldn't even tell me what I'm talking about. Even though I continue to say it for years and years, these people don't fucking care, dude. They want to live in flat Earth land.
Yeah, I'm totally one of them. And the thing is that if it is a flat Earth, a lot of people have asked this very question, and a lot of people's answer to that question that you just asked really is God, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And so it becomes a matter of that. People are going to be like, well, we're in God's created realm, and it's looks a lot
Yeah,
like Game
but
of Thrones, basically.
why would you think that God is so myopic and limited in his power? Because the heliocentric model puts us in pretty a grand universe. So, to compare the two in a little flat Earth pizza pie domed world that God created for us, or an immaculate universe with basically endless possibility. And it seems, flat earthers will hear me say that, and it seems like such a pipe dream, but there's actually good evidence for us actually going around the sun and it being a sphere, of course, like I've said. Retrograde motion of the planets make more sense than like Ptolemy, like older models of geocentrism. So with that in mind, you have to then say, well, the Earth is traveling 6 months apart, this many miles away, and we don't see the stars move that much. So the stars in that model intrinsically have to be extremely vast distances away. Geocentric, not so much, but like I said, it's more logical and more reasonable that we're going around the sun at this point.
I don't know, man. I had something I was gonna say, man. You made me lose it. Damn it.
Shout out Rested Soul. Shout out Rested Soul. Hey, baby, how you doing? She hates me, dude. It's hilarious.
Nah, she doesn't hate you.
She took this whole Ed conversation and made it what she wanted. And then now she just tries to post comments like to a troll, like I'm going to be affected by it. And I met this person in real life, and it's like, okay, dude, you want to act like that? Fine. Like, hey, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead.
Wow. Behind the keyboard, huh? But IRL though. But then behind the keyboard, huh?
Yeah, I've never talked shit or anything about her, actually. So she wants to do that. Me and Ed are cool, but she's mad about that whole conversation where some guy like had a Discord chat, or I never really got the full understanding of it. But basically, they felt that Karen B swiped his content, and I was just asking about the content and not understanding where they were coming from. And then now I'm a bad guy. So, oh well.
Man.
Yeah. It's a good chat, though, man. It's good. Thanks for having me on. I was glad I was able to actually talk to Dan Pratt, though everything that I said went in one ear and out the other, and he still probably hates me. It feels good to be able to actually chat with him for once instead of, and really, I've never been allowed on his channel. So like, I don't even go to his channel. I'm not subscribed at all. I don't mess with that guy. He banned me like right off the bat for not even saying anything mean or mad or bad or anything. And so, those kinds of people, they can have the life that they are producing for themselves. Go ahead. I'm trying to help you out, but you know what? Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Before I forget, and okay, I hear your points on all that stuff, but I just want to backtrack the conversation for just a second. You were saying that the heliocentric model puts us in a much grander universe, but you can't really discount all the beauty and all the depth and craziness of this world. I mean, come on, man. Think of all the different environments, all the different climates, all the different cultures, all the different land features, all the different things about the sky and the ocean, the animals, plant life, the technology, everything that we've done, the spiritual stuff, the mental stuff, the language. I mean, come on, bro. You can't just discount and say that this what we know, what we would say is God's creation. You can't just say that that's nothing compared to big dirty balls in empty space just because they're there,
No, I really actually think that it's more magnificent that God would create many different planets and stars and star systems, and so that we could look out and wonder at the creation, not have a little pizza pie dome model where Sky Daddy's right outside looking, peering through or something. I'm not interested in that kind of belief system. I'm not an atheist by any means, and I'm not really into attaching myself to any kind of theology, truthfully. But yeah, I'm just saying from a logical standpoint, and yes, you can't really think as a human what God would do, because God, you know, God is omnipotent and omniscient, I supposedly. So I would think that he would want to create something a little more grander than what you guys are proposing.
Yeah, technically it's grander, I guess, but I don't know.
Dude, your chat loves me, dude. There's so many flat earthers in there saying thank you so much for being around for 4 years and you know, giving your observations out and disproving my fantasy and stuff. So many in there, dude, saying that they love my voice and they would love me to continue to basically put them to sleep with how beautiful my voice is and such like this. So this is great, man. I should come on this channel more often.
Yeah, you're always welcome here, bro. You're always welcome here. And you know, you were telling me, you know, that you really like the way I say cuck and these fucking cuck boys and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. The thing is,
I got stuck in a loop yesterday calling those guys cuck boys.
I know. And I deliver it with every time I say the word, I focus in solely on that word, and it's like it's the first word of the sentence. That's how I do it. Got to get emphasis behind it. It's all about the breathing technique. You like to talk, you know, you like to talk it out and stay calm and say you're saying that you're thinking and you're really clear, and that's good. But with me, I roll on the emotion of the fact that I'm projecting, and I'm projecting as if I'm on a hilltop and I'm been put on the spot, you know, sometimes. And that's how I go about it. And it's different. So I can get real fucking loud. Like if you're in the room here, like you have to leave the room because I'm actually like projecting, you know. But I don't. It's a different thing. It's a different approach, and that might come from my fears or maybe my inability to really zone in and fucking drive home a point with multifaceted layers like you do quite often. You know, sometimes I've done it, but I don't do it as often as you. You're really good at that, you know.
Thanks. Yeah, sometimes I'm better than others. Like right now, I don't really feel like talking, but like a lot of times I do, and it actually helps me because a lot of, you know, 12 Monkeys, Moon, like this guy. I'm hoping that he's going to come subscribe to me. You can look up Kettle Logic or Tim Ossman for the best globe Earth evidence to date. But yeah, these people come over and they express how much basically they love me, but also on my channel as well. So this is nice. But what's crazy is on the flat Earth side, they never ever tell me how I'm wrong. I have kind of an affinity basically to not give people anything so they don't really aren't able to make videos about me. Even the gay beaver, all that kind of stuff. What are they going to do? Is that feminine foreigner guy, is he going to make a video about how he got wrecked by Timothy Ossman and how he doesn't know what fallacy he was talking about, like the no gay man fallacy or something like that? I have no idea. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. See, dude, I'll talk for days because these obviously 12 Monkeys wants me to, but go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I personally have said things that I think, you know, tear holes in some of your arguments, you know, but you ignore them always. It's okay though. But, you know, like someone in here was talking about how come the earth doesn't flip flop every 6 months, night and day? And would you say that that's an Eric Dubé style argument?
The moon flip every 6 months?
No, day and night flip every 6 months, and it doesn't happen, even though it's supposed to, like logically.
Yeah, that's an old Morgile question, and really, it gets into actually understanding what a sidereal day is, not using the sun for a calendar year, but actually using the stars. And so basically even the question in and of itself is malformed if you think about it, because we have leap years, right? But we also have 365 days in a year. So half a year technically isn't an even number. So it's going to be a half day anyway. So anyway, yeah, that is an old tired argument. And even 3 years ago when Morgile used that with me and Ed, we at least at the time knew to talk about the seasonal stars. But yeah, a lot has changed since that first Morgile.
The intangible sky argument has now been thrown into the into the argument and is invincible, as you've conceded on many occasions.
Not so much. But this is what's funny is why I did that whole cuck stream the other night is that they'll come back and they'll do exactly what I was trying to point out about their hypocrisy. But this 12 Monkeys Moon guy, he's like tearing me up in the chat, right? Timmy sucks all day long dicks, right? And then the next message is Timmy is so hateful. Hate-worthy piece of shit, filthy dog pig. Like that. Yeah, dude. I'm like, holy, what's wrong with that guy, man? Is it the Salt Lake City observations or is it the drone observations? I'm not really sure what's got that guy in a tizzy, but man, that's funny.
Oh man, those 4 cardinal directions, bro.
Yeah, I've got 2 down. I was actually literally thinking about that yesterday, doing a north to south, south to north observation of the Great Salt Lake because I have east and west. I have many east and wests. So at that point, if I'm getting curvature in all directions, what shape would that be?
A lens, a bulb, possible refraction or some shit. Someone would say, I'm sure.
Curved eyes. Have you gone? Try. You should do that, dude. You should be like, hey, debunk that I have curved eyes, dude.
I know, right? So what are these? These are the new string of arguments that people in Dell's arena have been presenting, huh?
Yeah, dude. This tangible argument he's been going on about, but like curved eyes, I'm not really sure. And really,
is that the extent of it? Is that like the worst extent of their theory? Or their most extreme?
The water thing is very extreme because when anyone comes on, he's like, you have to basically accept what he calls first principles, which is that water's flat, basically. And so nobody gets past the first stage of Dells, dude. It's all of this is an impossible set of standards, dude, that flat earthers oppose on us. It's hilarious, dude.
I know it's just such a gray area when you start talking about things like water's always flat. Does that, okay, and gravity. Well, is it also possible that we're in a dome I mean, I know it's not possible in your eyes, but I mean, it opens up the idea or the question of whether or not it could also be possible that we're in a domed disc that is moving upward and space is real. I mean, like there's such gray areas. It's like, are you guys trying to debunk the globe specifically, or are you trying to say that the earth is flat? Because when you're talking about things that are happening in the flat earth, as far as water always being flat, you're talking about a realm and you're supposing the realm. And then like I say, when you guys do stuff with the globe, you're presupposing the globe, and otherwise a lot of flat earthers presuppose a flat realm with all these other things without realizing what they're saying. And then sometimes they say other things that conflict with what they had said before. And that's what I'm getting at, is that there's so much gray area here that it's just, for people like me that are so far in it, and I've heard so many good arguments on both sides, and choosing to stay flat earth, I understand that it's completely faith-based. And at that point, it ties in with Christianity, or it should for most people. And then at that point, what would any good Christian fear of any normie or any person purporting the standard globe model? What would we fear any judgment from someone like that? You know what I'm saying? And that's the current state of things for a lot of people out here.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not sure what you're saying, actually. I thought you were going to go somewhere with the question, actually, at the beginning of that.
Well, what was I talking about?
Two stoners talking to each other, dude. This is what happens. We're like, what, bro? Anyway, since we do have Dan here, I'll go ahead and screen share here for him really quickly because I don't think he's ever seen these. And basically, I'll tell him, because he's actually saying in the chat basically that there's like no measurable evidence or of curvature or anything like that. So we'll just go ahead and look at this real quickly. Many people have seen this, but I know that you have such a problem with me, Dan, that you don't come to my channel. But this is Salt Lake City looking over 26 miles near Antelope Island. And basically what we see here is that half this building is being obstructed by what you call flat water, and I can't see the other beach and 210 feet of that building. Now, as I raise in altitude, Dan, I actually start to see more and more of the buildings. And what's great about this observation is that the water is very calm on the Great Salt Lake. It's very, very shallow. So the air conditions are very close to the water conditions. So there isn't huge temperature inversions. And basically, Dan, as you get higher and higher, you start to see more and more of the buildings. And when you're so high, you can actually see all of it. So that's the whole point, Dan, is that this has actually been measured. It's been quantified. It's actually been modeled on a flat Earth as well as a sphere Earth. You can check Walter Bislin's form for that. It's called Salt Lake City stooping. Though I'm sure all of this information will go in one ear and out the other, Dan, because you want to believe the Earth is flat because you're a truther, right? But anyway, thanks for letting me show Dan
that. What is it that people say? Obfuscation equals curvature, or what is it?
Obstruction.
Obstruction equates to curvature. But I would just, I mean, those are partial images, bro. Come on. You know that's how that is. It's just a little segment right there, and it's just like this flat little line, and it's just rolling up like any wave would do. That's what people are going to argue.
So a wave on the Great Salt Lake, when the water is about maybe 4 or 5 inches, I have observations where the water, it looks like glass. It's so calm out there, and it's also higher in the mountains, Dan. So the atmosphere isn't as
murky,
as crappy, as probably where you live. You're probably in like the 14.7 psi Florida near the ocean kind of fucking atmosphere. A little better up here. You get a little better conditions sometimes. So that's what I had to share with Dan, and we'll see. Maybe he can make a video about that. I'd love to hear that, Dan. What you have to think about it.
This is pretty much your only way to communicate with Dan Pratt directly, isn't it? Through Validation Boys Show.
Yeah, I mean, I use any opportunity I can because I do try to give people the benefit of the doubt about this kind of thing. But if they're the type of people like Bob and Jaron, all this, even Dale blocked me when he started seeing these images. If they want to block me because, or they don't want to look at this information, then they've put themselves in an echo chamber where they're being very dogmatic. There's a lot of evidence that the Earth is a sphere, and really gravity and, like I said, all those other things don't have anything to do with anything.
Flash that image back up there. Put that Salt Lake image up there.
Oh boy. I just threw a folder in another folder. Isn't that fun?
That should be one of your, say? That's going to be one of your main folders. You're always pulling that thing out, man.
I know.
But anyway, I want to see this gray line these people are talking about. What's that thick gray line, Timmy? And I remember seeing that on there.
So anyway, here's a comparison really quickly. I'll pull that picture back up here in a second. But here's a comparison of being closer to Salt Lake City. And this is the 2-foot observation we're about to see. So half this building and 100 feet that leads up from the water level up to the base of the building is being obstructed. Okay. So we'll get into these observations here. What are they saying?
What's that thick gray line right at the top? Or like where the water line meets the building?
On which image? The 1.5, 5 foot, or 25?
Let's go with your top out of those three. That top image, for example, where the building meets the water. There's a thick gray line there. They want to know what that is.
It's water. This is like, I don't know if it's showing up gray, but it's light blue on my TV. That's just water.
Like the middle building, for example, there's the white building, and at the bottom where you can see the white building, there's a blurriness, and then right under that, there's a side all the way across. I don't know if it's so thick, but it's definitely a gray line. It looks like you've washed that out some too. Get that kind of bright.
Really, probably. No, these are taken straight from the actual images. But from 6/12 of last year, I can destroy Dan's dreams right here. Actually, I can pull up videos from the P900 that show obviously the same thing. So we can kind of see in video form what you guys are trying to talk about. Because it's just a water horizon right here that's cutting off hundreds of feet over 26 miles. So it's pretty clear to most people, if you call yourself a realist or something, and you look at this, and you don't think that Salt Lake City's underwater right now, then I don't know. This
like
destroys flat Earth, man. It does.
It doesn't.
It matches the globe.
That thick
all my
line,
observations do.
That thick line looks like it's like something happening with light or heat energy, and it's creating some kind of optical illusion or something.
So what's funny is actually this was what Anthony Riley had said. He said that this blue line is actually obstructing that 300 foot that I was actually talking about. Even though we can count the actual windows and see how far, how much is actually missing in this imagery. Flat earthers will look to anything. It used to be swells, waves, atmospheric conditions, perspective, Riley's criterion, diffraction, atmospheric conditions, swells, waves. Yeah. So, but basically anything but that there's something in between you, the observer, and what you're observing. There's something that happens over water and over land that starts to curve down for some reason.
No, it's the wind pushing the water up and creating waves and creating motion, and then the heat that goes with that water, and then you're observing it, and things look like they're blowed up more than they really are.
So, like I said, there's like 4 or 5 inches of water. So, are you saying there's like 300-foot waves out of 5 inches of water?
Well, no, but there is little waves coming across that surface that you're showing.
Yeah, but they're teeny, and the observer and the camera is actually above them. So on a flat plane, if you're above the water, you would actually see the whole Salt Lake City. You would see the beach up to the buildings and that half a building that is being obstructed. So Dan doesn't have any observations.
Over that amount of space, over that amount of distance from where your drone is to where you're looking at, and all the cumulative energy of all those ripples and all that heat and all that light and all that refraction, whatever they want to say it is, you're saying that it's impossible that what you're observing there might not be right or could be wrong. I mean, it's possible because of all that energy.
I'm observing right. I see it with my eyes the same way I see it with my camera.
That can't be true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing it as magnified, but I still see the same amount of obstruction, and I still see the buildings easily.
That's completely subjective, and that would have to be dismissed in an argument.
Well, I also have a Nikon D3200 where I take images, and a P900. My eyes, obviously, which is anecdotal, 4K drone, and a Samsung Galaxy taking pictures of it as well. So all different angular resolutions and all the other excuses are taken care of as well. So
really though, someone here says, why don't you enhance the photos, Tim? Cut that blue hue and increase the contrast.
Will that make 300 feet of building and land become unobstructed? I mean, this is...
Well, not
so anyway, this
recorded. It's a matter of aperture when you're capturing images. It's about the aperture then. Really, if we
so I have 6 videos of this. This is actually looking west. The other ones are looking east. So like I said, basically it could be a cylinder Earth at this point until I do north and south observations perhaps. But as you can see, this basically in the middle, right under the sun where that peak is, that's Gunnison Island. That's 37 miles away. And as the drone goes lower and lower, unfortunately for the dream of the flat Earth, it starts to become very broken and evident that things are obstructed by water that's supposed to be flat. And there's actually no reason for that. There's no good reason for that. There's no good reason that this peak can only be seen from about 25 feet and above. So flat Earth is stupid.
The problem with your argument is that the farther away you go, while saying that there's obviously ripples on this water, so it's not glass water. But the farther and farther away you go, the more energy could be affecting what you're seeing. That's an inconvenient part of this.
Or it could be the curve of the Earth.
But it doesn't look like a curve. There's no side to side curve. It only looks like a
We don't expect side to side curve. Why would we expect that?
Well, how are we getting so much cylindrical forward curve and not side to side ball curve?
Because we're looking at tall objects in one direction. So when we're looking, when basically here, I'll pull this back up. When we're looking at the horizon, this water horizon here isn't as many miles out as these objects are that are falling below it. So you're not going to see x-axis curvature near the ground. 1,650 feet, no. According to Sean Hufford, you can see it at the beach by just compressing the image, which is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life, truthfully.
How is forward curvature visible and side to side curvature is not visible? That's not logically possible. Anywhere, just in light.
It's hard to grasp this, but let's just go down really quickly here. So basically this water horizon is only a few miles away, right? So the water horizon on the x-axis, if you follow that, because it's only that far away, isn't that many miles, right? It's not 37 miles of x-axis. So when we're actually looking at tall buildings in the distance, that's why we can actually start to see them. But I mean, really, you wouldn't expect this on a flat Earth. Like, I don't understand why flat earthers just won't give it up at this point. This is just, you guys have been given so much evidence, just pounded into you.
You've given me cylinder evidence, not
ball evidence. So hey, you know what? I'll do north south, and I'll make that cylinder a ball for you, bro. You'll be a ball earther with Dan in no time.
It's gonna take 4 cardinal directions, bro.
Yeah, I know you're kind of joking, dude. But anyway, we'll go on with one of the water glass observations here. This water is super calm, dude. I mean, you can see the reflection. And what's funny is when I showed this to flat earthers the first time, and they're probably going to say this in the chat, this is proof of flat earth somehow, that you don't see like a curve over this amount of water and it's being so flat or something. I have no idea. But anyway, this is also obviously showing Gunnison Island. And as you go higher and higher, you start to see more and more of it. So this kind of stuff just is indicative of a sphere, the 2 celestial points, the equatorial star trails, the circumpolar stars, equinox, solar lunar eclipses. All of these things that cannot be explained on a flat Earth are explained here on the sphere.
It looks CGI. No, I'm just saying.
Anyway, that's funny.
Looks so crisp.
For Truth. Musicians for Truth is here. It's this guy named Dreads, and basically he's one of the most ignorant people I've actually come across, truthfully. But he's also suffering from Dunning-Kruger effect, right? So basically he thinks that he's a professional at like perpetual motion machines and free energy and all this shit. And basically I challenged him and I said, hey, here's my email, buddy. You can email me and we'll have a live chat anytime. So he said, oh, yeah, we'll do. And basically what he did was run to Nathan Oakley and try to get Nathan Oakley involved in it. So I never received an email from this Dread guy to come on to my channel and just open up a can of worms that he can do whatever he wants to, as long as it's, within reason, I guess, on my channel to prove me wrong. But the guy has absolutely no spine, no balls. And so he basically just hides in chats and basically hangs out with other flat earth echo chamber clowns. So have you ever come across this clown?
I forget the name again. Say it one more time.
Musicians for Truth.
I've heard of the name. It's Dread? That's Dread? Dreads? Same guy?
Yeah. No, not Black Dreads. This is a white dude with dreads.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, he's a total tool, man. Anyway, he was trying to get me on Nathan's, and he's in the chat, embarrassed as he should be, because if he had the ultimate truth of the shape of the Earth, he should be able to just come and say how I'm wrong, but he can't, and that's what's sad about this whole situation. He doesn't have any observations. He just basically has spent many years sitting in echo chamber hangouts where he creates a lot of hot air. Okay, so I create pictures and observations, and he creates a lot of hot air. So anyway.
Have you ever, Tim, have you ever contemplated this idea where what if one day some real shit went down where even the most staunch flat earthers had to concede and we all knew it and it was totally proven. It was like completely fucking undeniable. And all the flat earthers are like, fuck it. And we publicly, took it back. How would that make you feel? What would your immediate reaction be? And then what would your reaction be like in retrospect when you thought about it like a month later?
I don't know.
What would your first reaction be? Like, what if some shit really went down and everyone was like, "Holy crap, it's all true. There's a fucking globe, and no one can deny it now." And then like what would you be like? How would it make you feel?
I don't know. It's actually so far out of the realms of a possibility almost at this point with me, because there is just a niche group of people that want to believe the earth is flat, and then there's the charlatans above and the shills and stuff that put on little conventions and stuff so they can make thousands of dollars off them. So I just don't see that happening, and I really couldn't tell you if that did happen. I don't know. I don't know what would happen if people started realizing the futile tasks that they've endeavored in for the past several years, where all of a sudden it comes to an end, where actually what I've been saying for several years and people like Timothy Ossman been trying to tell me, the earth is actually a sphere. So, wow, I feel like a jackass now. So I don't know what to think, man, because they're so dogmatic and so convinced that the earth is flat. I just can't see that happening, truthfully.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I guess fantasy world. What if it did? What if it did go down and you were right all along? How would you feel about it, though? I mean, like, I know how the people would feel. All the flat earthers would be like, all right, we were punked. We were punked out. We take it back and shit. And then would you feel like you lost a purpose on YouTube or anything like that? Or would you just kind of go to something else? Or what would you do?
Surely I would go to something else. Probably have like Flat Earther Anonymous group meetings where we talk about basically the misconceptions that we used to believe in the flat earth. And you can be completely anonymous and write your name on the timesheet. And
Flat Earth Hotline. Flat Earth Confessions.
Dude, yeah, there's going to be a lot of, at that point, there would be a lot of very like distraught people. They're already very disenfranchised and they're so sure of this. And after all that time, I really try to think about like people like Dell, if he could have the intelligence to actually realize why the earth is a sphere and not flat, I just don't know what he would do, man. The amount of time these people have invested, it's like the ego at that point just says to continue on.
Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from. But I think that 99, pretty much every flat earther, even the most fucking hardcore ones, if space travel were just a common thing that people were able to do, and they knew for a fact that planets were real and shit, I think that's all they would need to know. They wouldn't even care about the mechanics of why or how. People would just be consumers on Mars, and then they'd be consumers on Jupiter, and then they'd be consumers on Saturn or wherever we went. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of flat earthers think that I would be upset if the earth was flat. And like I've said before, I really don't care what shape it is, right?
I wasn't going to ask you that. I wasn't going to ask you that. I was going to let it stay on one side.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if there's better evidence for flat earth, I'll just start believing in flat earth. I would be a flat earther at that point. But from my perspective, with all that I have said throughout this stream and through the years, that's why I believe it's a globe, right? It's better evidence than anything that Globebusters, Jaren, or any of those people have ever said about the flat earth. So if there's actually like a group of people that came out and said, hey, here's a map model and this is how it works, I would be very dumbfounded at first if it had more predictive capability than the sphere. because that idea alone warps the mind. It completely warps the mind. It really, I don't think it's possible.
When
So
you look back at all of the, I guess, quote unquote, best or most proficient flat Earth um, channels and the channels that provide proofs or present ideas, would you say that most of what flat Earth has presented has been actually pro flat Earth specifically, or more anti globe specifically? Like
who?
what you've been presented with as a viewer on YouTube from the entirety of the flat Earth community. Have you seen more anti globe of a message, or have you seen an actually pro flat Earth message?
It's kind of changed. It used to be more about pro flat Earth, and I think now it's more about anti globe. I think it's more about the idea that we don't know what it is, except that we know that it's not a ball, right? So that right there is a contradicting statement that they like to say. Uh, but I think that's where the sentiment has kind of gone. Is that we just know it's not a ball, and we're just trying to figure it out here. But the problem is a lot of them have already labeled themselves flat earthers. And when you say
Oh,
that, it's like you can't group us into one thing. It's like, no, if you call yourself a flat earther and you say that you believe in the flat earth, then we can all call you a flat earther. You believe the earth is flat, it's
you can't. Yeah, you
uh,
can't backtrack. You can't backtrack and then just say, "Well, I'm just anti-globe." Well, no, you declared yourself a flat earther.
yeah. And we even got that dread guy in the chat saying anti-globe. And also, I put my email in the chat as well for him, and he said that I would mute him and or whatever, and that he wants me to come on Nathan's or something. So I have had Antonio on. I've had some really, really big A personalities on my channel where things get crazy, and I don't even think I've ever muted anyone actually. So this guy's just a clown. He's not going to actually want to have a conversation with me.
What's he
He's
so scared
gotten
of?
well, he probably knows that I'm not going to go on there or anywhere else because I'm giving him an opportunity to say his piece towards me and towards the whole topic of flat Earth and why the Earth is flat, not a sphere. But he wants to run and hide behind the moniker of Nathan Oakley's channel or whatever. So I'm not going to play that game because I know Nathan cannot be a moderator. He doesn't possess the capability anymore.
Yeah, that guy might not realize that by going on your show, it's going to give him quite a bit of eyes. It's going to have quite a bit of eyes on him. It might be a good thing for him to do. He doesn't
I think he
realize that.
knows. I think he knows after hearing me for as many times as I talked. Maybe he doesn't exactly believe in what I'm saying because his whole paradigm is so much different. But at the same rate, I think he knows that he probably has met his match as far as intellectual person, as well as somebody that's studied in logic, reasoning, and philosophy. He's not going to pull a lot of the stuff I hear him pull all the time with me. And so he knows to not come on that channel because basically it would be a recording of him making an ass of himself. So I don't feel too bad for him, except
Have you
for his flat Earth belief. Basically, go ahead.
have you heard that guy speak before?
Yeah. He used to be on Free Channel a lot. He's kind of an old timer.
Okay.
Always comes in with a fucking shit attitude. Just a real chip on the shoulder, jaded fucking clown, basically. Comes in with hate and vitriol and stuff. Even if we were to try to chat nicely, I'm sure he would get triggered because his belief system and structure will be dismantled when we do chat. So he does say that Nathan Oakley says that he won't interrupt. Well, Nathan Oakley can contact me, or you can contact me since I've given you my email twice, bud. And we could set that up. And really, if he wants to start interrupting, then I'm just going to leave. But if that's the case and we can have a fair shot at a conversation, then that's fine. If that's where you want to go with it. But you set that up. I don't really care to.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. This has become about
good.
him. Long show.
No, I don't care.
Shit.
I know. I know you probably want to head out and stuff.
Yeah, I think my food was done like an hour ago or something. I have no idea, but yeah, it was good chatting with you, man.
Always a extreme pleasure, bro. And tell Lewis to get off his fucking knees next time you see him.
Will do, bro. Have a good night.
All right. Later.
Later.
All right, my little motherfuck faces. The always controversial, always hyper triggering Timothy Ossman live was the special guest tonight. I haven't had a guest in quite a while. Planer Walk VB is trying to match my 3 hours. Not even. I don't even know how long I've been on here. It's been like an hour and a half probably. Twitwit says, good chat, guys. Paxenda loves it all. Nathan Oakley, the Flat Earth Messiah, says LMAO. LOLVB, good one. Andres, this hangout made me depressed, says PMars. Oh, PMars, don't be depressed. Rusted Soul wants to know when Timmy's going to face Musicians for Truth. Way BMX chimes in and says, Lewis has a flaccid baby dick. Interesting. There's a channel here named Jenna Wilson sucked IPS's cock for Fepe memes. Ha ha. So much win. Flames. Okay. Lewis Hackett, I'm on my knees. Watch my last episode, Lewis. You'll enjoy it. We go into great detail. Okay. It's a full review of your interview with the fucking, oh my God, the creep, the hooker, and the fucking, I'm not even going to say it, the people, okay, that made that stupid fucking movie that you guys are looking for personal validation from them making, okay, from them having made that movie. You seek your own personal vindication and validation off of that. And you all sat in your little circle. And Twitwit got all starstruck and shit. Oh, Validation Boy is a deep, dark place that sometimes y'all people don't want to even fuck with and come to. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens, you know? Chilling. Deep, dark corner. Nantucket Nectar. Wow. Way BMX. Hack your addressing Lewis Hackett says, hack your flaccid as fuck, bro. Weekend. Synthetic Dread, Musicians for Truth. Synthetic Dread back in the day. Oh yeah. Why don't you fucking go? Why don't you go talk to Timmy? Kitty fuck. You can't go talk to Timmy? You're a calm dude. I've seen you back in the day go hours and hours on live streams, chilling, talking to people with a calm voice. I know you can do it. What's the problem? You're really that scared of Tim Ossman? He's a badass dude, yeah, but he's nothing to fear that way. I don't think you need to have anxiety or fear. You know? Set yourself up with some backup zingers if you really need them. Go in prepared if you feel like you're going to be attacked. And then leave. Get yours in and then leave if you feel like you've been ambushed. But I seriously doubt he's going to ambush you. You know? He probably really wants to talk to you. Probably feels like he can actually change your mind about one specific thing. And then he can like do something for his cause in this world. Do I feel like Tim deserves to have that voice and fight for mainstream cuckery that is the globe model? Yeah, I do. I wish, hope, and pray, really, that one day he'll turn to God and he'll see the light and know that, you know, no one's going to win this argument, flat or sphere. And I'm not going to go with an infinite void of space. Sounds satanic. More concerned with my soul and my afterlife and my immediate surroundings of my afterlife than I am with how much space is between Jupiter and Uranus. You know what I'm saying? Lewis Hackett, it always amazes me how much shit people give me. Yeah, bro, because you're like hyper cuck boy, dude. You're like a flaming normie and shit. Like over the top. It can't even be real. If I had to join and I muted you, I would be the ass, not how you win debates. That's what Timothy Ossman live says. Okay. This is the internet, Lewis, says Delete the Elite. It's not like you were asking for it, Lewis, says Jenna Wilson. Lewis Hackett has flames. Yeah, you are, bro. You're flaming normie, bro. You got to get off your knees for Soundly, Lewis. It's disturbing, bro. You got exposed on Validation Boy live stream last week. You got exposed, bro. Go back and check it out. It's worth the listen. The whole show's rather entertaining. Tim stealthily avoided my discussions or my topic that I like to discuss, and he's clever for doing it. I applaud him. That was a nice move. And can't give him nothing but props, because it's a dark, ugly place that Tim doesn't like to go to. Nobody likes to go to it. And I'm not even going to go there right now. Some of y'all out there know exactly what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about the real issue. It's bigger even than Flat Earth, unfortunately. I used to say Flat Earth was the biggest thing. Not so sure about that anymore. I'm thinking about different things lately. So, there's not much more I wanted to talk about, I don't think. Rusted Soul, good to see you. Andres, everyone subscribe to Andres. Woke Flatarian says Musicians for Truth is the next Arwen. P. Mar says you the biggest, VB. Thanks, bro. Jenna needs to hit the gym. She's looking like a garbage bag filled with mud. P. Mars asked if there's any female that wants to marry him. No, he doesn't ask that. He says, does any female want to marry me? Plainer Walk says he agrees. There are definitely bigger things than Flat Earth. Yeah. Waka Flocka. Waka Flocka. Oh, man. What's that song? What's that song, Cigar Face? I love that song by Waka Flocka. Any female will do, says Lewis Hackett. What's in Tim's bags? Not the same Tim. Not the same Tim. Like Agenda 21. Oh, man. Twitwit. Wow. What the fuck? Man, so many people in here. Way BMX. Delete the Elite. PMARS. Rusted Soul. Musicians for Truth. Tinfoil Hatter. Christopher. Nantucket Nectar. Nantucket Nectar's in here. All right, guys? Cigar Face. Schlumminger. Daylight, Ohio. Lewis Hackett is in here, guys. Nathan Oakley, the Flat Earth Messiah, is in here. Bitches. Paxanda. Man, I can't wait to go back and read all the wise, funny, cool things that you guys said. Man, it's tough. I've been thinking so much. Ed Upside Down Head, the legend, the icon, the legend of our times. You know, and Ed is with me on a lot of these things that I've been thinking about lately, and it's going to a different place. I don't know how much longer we can go on Flat Earth. I'm just gonna keep going. It's the ultimate, gateway drug, is it not? Yeah. That used to be the moon landing. That used to be 9/11. That used to be Sandy Hook for a while. Used to be Columbine High for a while. Used to be Waco, Texas for a while. Oh, yeah, didn't it? Used to be Waco, Texas. It used to be the Oklahoma City bombing. Now it's Flat Earth. People want to make it into the mud flood. It's not going to be the mud flood. Mud flood is anti-white propaganda. You didn't build that. That's what mud flood's all about. And mud flood intertwines with Mormon theology. Because I saw John Levi make a video. I made a video about this, but I've since taken it down because of a huge error. But it was only because I had misnamed some people. But the thing is, John Levi put out a video a long time ago talking about how there's all these cities that are in the deserts of North America with no buildings on them. Are these really old, or are they unused new cities? Someone found and debunked and said that they were new cities that were never yet used. But an argument can be made that they were ancient cities that were razed over, R-A-Z-E-D, razed. And that's a good movie too, Raze, R-A-Z-E. Go check that movie out. If any of y'all have any guts, Go check out that movie Raise. But anyways, these buildings or these towns, if they did exist, would be proof for the Mormons' theory that ancient Israelites came to North America 3,000 years ago, and then 1,000 years ago, a whole nother tribe of ancient Israelites came over and wiped them out or some shit like that. And it's all just Mormon propaganda. And see how the mud flood is just craziness. It's all anti-white and pro-ancient Israel. It's really what it all fucking boils down to, is what mud flood boils down to. I'm not even going to get into it, guys. I'm not even going to fucking get into it. But, yeah, these are the kinds of things I've been thinking about. Twitwit says Frontline. Get out of here. No, Twit, says P. Mars. Are y'all talking about that DB, do you think Mormons are a cult? Asks Plainer Walk. Of course. I don't know if I've ever told the story, but there was crazy Mormons who trying to court me into their church through, like, you know, friendliness and shit. They're trying to use fellowship. And they were always introducing me to all these people and shit all the time. And they would take me to their Mormon temples when there was no one in there. And they would try to make me play these trust games where you wear these blindfolds and you go through these mazes. All this weird shit, dude. Weird fucking shit. And they had twin Jesuses. And I know, Planet Walk, I know you hate Jesus Christ. I know you're fucking hellbound for fucking glory. Shit, right? So I know none of this would mean anything to you. But yeah, the Mormons are a completely fucking disgusting cult. 2020, some shit's gonna go down. Yeah. Still Closer asks if there's any Sheckelstein in the chat. You guys think I should put super chat on just for the fuck of it? And if someone gives me money, I'm not even gonna thank you. I'm not even gonna thank them at all. I'm not even gonna acknowledge them. Just turn it on and have people just give me money, and then I can, you know, help pay for this new thing that I bought and shit, so I can keep broadcasting to you guys before my shit got obsolete and technology exiled Validation Boy from the face of YouTube. Still Closer says, yeah, do it. Or would I just be a complete and utter fucking hypocrite and sell out and shit? Ed says, I donate to you just to talk shit. LOL, Plainer Walk. Yeah, there's things they do like love bombing and use all kind of techniques. Jordan Peterson. Fuck Jordan Peterson. Fuck Jordan Peterson. He's a fucking antichrist. He's a Satanist. He says, do as thou wilt. That's Jordan Peterson's main thing in the end. That's what he's all about. Yeah, he's all kind of fucking fancy. And he says a lot of good shit. But he's been the father of lies, tells fucking truth half the time and shit, right? That's the thing about Jordan Peterson. He's clever. But he's all about making men fall into him as a honey trap. Not an intellectual honey trap as opposed to a sexual honey trap. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's a new strategy for the thinking man. The thinking man thinks that they're getting over on the world by being Jordan Peterson fans. Well, Jordan Peterson says, do as thou wilt. So if you like Jesus Christ, then you shouldn't really be down with Jordan Peterson all that much. You know, after listening to Sandman and all these other guys in MGTOW and all this other kind of stuff, and listening to DJ Hives 10 years ago and shit, 8 years ago, Jordan Peterson, yeah, it's great. He fucking presents himself well, but he never really did it for me. He never really blew my mind. Maybe once or twice. Does he say something that just blew my, oh, hold on, I had to sit there and think about what he just said for a second. No, maybe twice. And I've listened to hours and hours and hours of Jordan Peterson. Nothing against him too much, you know, personally, but it's just, I'm not down with it, bro. Jordan Peterson's a fucking antichrist. I hate to say it for you, a lot of you guys, a lot of fanboys. But yeah. Oh yeah, and on top of that, he's a fucking shekel fucking charging fucking bastard and shit, raping his fucking customers for thousands and thousands of dollars, 500 pounds for a fucking handshake and shit like that. Oh, let me take a picture with you, Mr. Peterson. Oh, that'll be $2,000. Fuck you, man. Who the fuck do you think you are, bro? Yeah, I don't know. And then there was that whole vape shop freak out thing that happened a month or two ago. I just now got around to seeing it. That shit was classic, bro. Shit was so classic. That guy, that liberal cuck, fucking freaking out in that vape shop. And that guy says, "Oh, look, capitalism wins again. Do my biddings." He pulled a VB and told them to do his biddings and shit. Wow. Fucking, I got fans all over the world, bro. Plainer Walk says he's not a fan of Jordan Peterson. Yeah. God, man. I bet Peterson is a fucking lizard, says Cigar Face. I know. Insensitive motherfucker, now go fuck yourself. Who is this Jordan Peterson you speak of? I bet that's JP right there, huh? No, I bet that's Faith Goldie watching me. Every Monday after I get off my live stream, Faith J. Goldie is doing her live stream, which she just started doing. And she's a female hyper conservative, Greek born or Greek descended Canadian born, and an extreme Canadian nationalist conservative. And she's pretty fucking awesome. But she's loyal to the aliens, if you all know what I'm saying, which is the downfall of most conservatives. Even non-alien ones still opt for the fucking aliens. Just look at Trump. You know, Ben Shapiro, he is an alien. She's still pro-alien, unfortunately, and shit. And there's a couple. She's also a gynocrat. But other than that, everything else she says is literally golden. Faith J. Goldie. Goldy. And I fell into watching her. And sometimes it's annoying and I can't take it. And I let it sit there for like a week and a half. And then I finally watch it and get through it as fast as I can. She's kind of snide and she's always begging for fucking money. But she did place third in the race for Toronto mayor. Third out of 37 people. And the mainstream media, who was owned by her opponent, the liberal in that town, literally owns and controls the actual media branches of that city and jurisdiction, completely like did a TV whitewash on her and cost her. But she was pretty close to fucking becoming the actual mayor of Toronto because she says Toronto first, which we understand what that really means. Those of us out here who are meant to understand what that really means do understand what that really means and why that is such a great thing. Okay. Twitwa says she watches the non-gay Canadian Steven Crowder. Ed Upside Down Head says aliens. But yeah, so I mean, I would recommend Faith J. Goldie, but I mean that I don't know. It's probably not for most people, you know. And it's just one small area of viewership that's out there. It's because it's attached to Red Ice TV, and it also was attached to Gavin McGinnis, who I used to like when he used to appear on Red Eye on Fox late at night 10, 15 years ago when I used to watch that at 2 or 3 in the morning when I was partaking and having deep thoughts about society and God and responsibility and accountability. And I used to sometimes put on Red Eye, and I had some red eyes. And there was that fucker, Gavin McGinnis, and I kind of liked him, but I kind of didn't. And then eventually over the years, he had Rebel Media. And I guess that she had worked for them. I don't know. Whatever. She's probably live right now. And lately, when she has guests on, she pretty much sucks. It pretty much sucks. She had Owen Benjamin on there, actually. And it was a big, big disappointment because she was recently married or was about a week away from being married or a week after having just been married. And she spends the whole time talking to Owen Benjamin, essentially kind of flirting with him. There's kind of this flirty edge going on, and it's what you would expect to see from a female who is born and raised in Western culture, and how a lot of females are programmed subconsciously with the idea that monkey branching is always something that they should have on their mind, and therefore they accidentally leave themselves out there in situations when they shouldn't be leaving themselves out there, because women have this conflicted messages that they have to live up to or whatever. And the monkey branching and everything. And she kind of like is hitting on Owen Benjamin, and I don't like that fucking guy. I'm not impressed with Owen Benjamin. I don't give a fuck, dude. He's not fucking funny. He looks like a lazy fucking bum to me. And I know people say he's not lazy, fucking chops his own wood. He's out there fucking hunting, whatever. He's sitting there drinking beer by a fireplace and just blabbing and fucking blabbing about truly about nothing and shit. I don't know. Not impressed. He did the whole fucking flat earth thing, and all y'all fucking top brass fucking jumped on his nut sack and started fucking chewing away and shit, you know? And now he's just riding that. He just rode you and got all these new fans out of you guys. And same thing Jake the Fake did back in the day. And Jaron was all too fucking happy to fucking do it. It's you guys and your little networking, your creepy networking shit that you do. You're not out here to like be here for your listeners, to provide your listeners specifically with cool shit like Validation Boy and Daniel Pratt and even Timothy Ossman, you know, and Ed Upside Down Head and Cigar Face too. You know, you're not about that. You top brassers. You're just about networking. And you got these fucking people like that coming in, these Owen Benjamins. Well, he was on her show, and fucking, it was just bad. And at the end, she starts doing the hair flip and everything. It was just like, why are you doing this? So disturbing, so disgusting. I wonder how her fucking husband felt, you know? And that's the problem. There's always going to be this gynocratic thing that we have to worry about as a society. It's always there lurking in the background, ready, eager to destroy. And what does the gynocracy worship? It worships Gaia. It worships the mother. It worships the creation, not the creator. It's not the father. And that's why it's satanic. And I'm not saying women are the devil. But we got to watch what controls our lives. You know what I'm saying? We have to be aware of what forces are at work in our lives. You have to humble yourself before your creator. You have to realize that he did come here in the flesh to prove to you that he's real. It's not that hard. And let's see what we got. Cigar Face, hypergamous, exactly. She was acting quite hypergamous, was Faith Goldie, when having Owen Benjamin, the fucking woodsy bum dude who thinks he's a lot funnier than he is and drinks like way too much fucking beer. Beer's for fucking, I don't know, dude. I'm not even going to go there. 99% of my fucking listeners drink beer, so whatever. Networking gives people a wider reach, says Plain and Walk. Yeah, when you're all about vanity and having wider reaches, yeah, I can see how people would think that that's a virtue. You know what I'm saying? Lewis Hackett, to his own dismay, says that Jesus isn't real. Good luck with that, Lewis. Good luck with that, bro. Flat Earth Reset has joined us and says, I'm late. Yeah, it was a very interesting show. It was a very interesting, dynamic show. Twitwood says, good night, VB. Hawkins Astro Photography says, LOL. Sean Hawkins. We know what you did last summer, bro. I still got a meme in the works for you, Sean Hawkins. You fucking cuck. Fucking cuck. All right. All Canadians need to fear the day of the rake, says Ed Upside Down Head. Rake those leaves. Lewis Hackett says Steven Crowder's been along for a long time. Been around for a long time. Lewis Hackett wants you guys to subscribe to his channel. If you dare. I dare you guys to go look at Lewis Hackett's fucking channel. Oh my God. You still got that 24/7 live stream up, Lewis, where it's just you shaving your face with a dull blade and there's not even hair there. You're just shaving nothing. You're shaving cream off of your bare skin while eating apples and shit. And you got poetry, reading other people's work, just poetry on a loop in the background. You still got that whole thing going, Lewis? Oh my God, bro. Subscribe to Lewis. Yeah. Or else Lewis might become the next Arwen and start throwing hissy fits and shit. Lewis is going to start throwing hissy fits like Arwigen. Oh, Lewis. Lewis, why don't you come with some good shit, dude? I know you probably got some hangouts and shit up there now, right? At least. Why don't you come with some content? Why don't you narrate a piece like Validation Boy? Why don't you do something? Why don't you do something badass like that? Present a new way of thinking for people. Present a new argument. Point out something that needs to be pointed out, like Validation Boy does. when I come out with videos like traffic jams are a hoax, and they get thousands of views and hundreds of comments of people just like getting their mind blown how awesome the video is. Or, you know, videos like hijabs oppress men. You know, how about flat earth, the global gynocracy? Why don't you do something on that level, Lewis? Get these people to like you. You got to win them over, bro. You know, you got to put in the work, bro. Look at all the work Andres puts in. Andres scans, okay, for only the prime content and presents it to us with a lot of style, And we love Andres for doing that. He's consistent, bro. Where are you at, Lewis? Where are you at, bro? I'm thinking about subscribing to you again. I unsubbed from you like a year and a half ago. I had been subbed to you for a good couple months. Think about maybe subscribing to you. What are you going to give me, Lewis? What do you got for me, Lewis? Get. That upside down head says GPV. Flames, 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 man. Big ups to Flat Earth Reset. Thank you, VB. Oh, all day, Andres. Rusted Soul. Lewis is doing readings of Dr. fucking Seuss. You know what? I don't care if that's a factual statement or not. I believe it. I believe that now. So, Lewis, you can thank Rusted Soul for Validation Boy officially believing that you just read Dr. Seuss on your channel, bro. What's better than him reading Dr. Phil on his channel? Yo, check out Red Ice TV. Red Ice TV. There's a couple. They're married, Heinrich and Lana, and her name is Lana Loktev. And I have a theory that Lana Loktev and Lewis Hackett are very, very closely related. Very closely related, and they might not even know it. I've even superimposed Lewis Hackett's face over Lana Loktev's face and sent the image to Ed Upside Down Head, to Timothy Ossman, and to P. Mars exclusively. Those three guys. That superimposed image of Lana Loktev from Red Ice TV and Lewis Hackett. And either you guys are twin brother and sister, or one of you is the other in playing dress up. But I mean, I'm not really actually saying that. I'm not saying that, but people could think that. That's how close the similarity of y'all's features are. And I'm not sure if it's that she looks masculine or that you look feminine. I'm not sure. And yeah, it's funny because someone back in the day took that tranny app and did one on VB and sent it to me and shit. As a girl and all that shit. They put the hair and the makeup and all that shit. And it ended up looking like one of my actual fucking distant family members. It's kind of funny and creepy. Kind of creepy how that works out. But yeah. There's something going on there. There's something going on there, Lewis Hackett. He says he does a great job. Yeah, exactly. He's officially admitting it right now. Ed saw it, Timmy saw it, and P saw it. Should I put it out on a video? No, you'll hit me with a strike. You'll hit me with a strike. Anyone that wants it, I'm sure one of those men might be willing to forward it to you. But that's out of my hands at that point. Out of my hands at that point, bruh. But yeah, man. Fuck it, man. I'm just hanging out, right? New gear. Change of scenery behind me. Just temporarily, maybe. Not sure. Might go back in the other room. I don't know. Kind of like it out here. It's much more fucking comfortable. I had almost nothing to go on tonight. Other than the fact that what I was talking about early in the show, which is that flamboyantly gay men can be seen. This is just an argument that I'm presenting. Maybe I should ask it as a question. Can it be argued that all flamboyantly homosexual men are by default pedophiles? Is that a fair statement to make? I'm just asking a question. And when I say pedophiles, I don't necessarily mean in the literal sense, like they actually diddle and shit. But psychologically, are they? Because when people are flamboyant, it forces the people around them who are aware of their lives, who are aware of reality, the Sodom and Gomorrah that we live in. Some part of our brain acknowledges this sickness existing in these people, and when they're flamboyant, they're putting it out there as a blockade, as a wall, as a force field that then actually infringes on you socially, and it goes into your mind, and you now have to make adjustments, make special reconciliations for things you are going to say, all these fucking dumb things that flamboyant people victimize innocent people around them with by being flamboyantly homosexual. Now, I extended that further, this violation, this essentially psychological rape that flamboyant homosexual people are doing by being flamboyant about their homosexuality. This rape, I extended that to children that might be around them at the time, and how children then have to ask their parents why that person is that way. Or eventually they have to find out the hard way from their little friends what that's all about, what they're seeing, this strange character who they feel uncomfortable and victimized kind of by inherently. Even if they like the person, even if it's a family member, whatever it is, they know there's something not right there. That child has to find that out. And then see, people are flamboyant because they enjoy the effect that it has on the people around them. That's why I say it's a rape and a violation of the psychology of the people around you when you're flamboyant, because they're getting off on doing that. Now, when they act that way around children, they are psychologically raping the children around them. And they're putting these kinds of thoughts into those children's heads and enjoying it. They have to be enjoying it. Otherwise, they would not be flamboyant around children. So next time you see a flamboyant homosexual interacting with children that aren't theirs, that are strangers to them, and then being that way to them, maybe you should say something. That's child rape in a fucked up way. That's what that is. So openly flamboyant people, mathematically, logically, when you run down the thing, are essentially psychological pedophiles and should be shamed for it. And that's why I find Sodom and Gomorrah to be the fucking satanic hell pit of rotten disease and destruction and death that it is. The shame that this world is. And all you fucking globe cucks out there that want to defend NASA's claim that there is no God through your fake pseudoscience, CGI, middle school science textbooks. Y'all are trash. You're nothing to me. You're disgusting. You don't impress me. And if you're not impressing me, who are you impressing? Nobody. Matt Cannon says, depravity leads to depravity. Here in Australia, most older gay men are pedos and toilet hoppers. They hang at the beaches and flash children. So what's up with that? What's up with that? At what point does justice take place? Where is that line that needs to be crossed? Where is this line that needs to be crossed, guys? What has to happen first before society says, maybe we've gone too far? How many fucking people have to suffer? Fuck it. This has been Validation Boy live stream, February 25th, 2019.